Annabelle didn't just escape the case, she escaped into our reality. If you thought the first part of this story was unsettling, the rumors, the panic, the TikTok lives that had people on edge, then brace yourself, because the second wave of chaos was even stranger. See, once the dust settled and the first shock of Annabelle is missing started to wear off, the internet shifted into overdrive. Everyone wanted answers. Was this real? Was it a prank? Or had the most famous haunted doll in the world actually slipped out of her cage? It started with screenshots, the kind you see get shared 1,000 times until no one remembers where they came from. Supposed security footage of the plantation hallway, grainy and black and white, with what looked like a doll-shaped shadow crawling along the floor. It didn't take long for people to stitch it into TikTok reactions, adding ominous music, captions, even fake screams. Some swore it was just another creepypasta gimmick, but others treated it like gospel, replaying the video frame by frame, pointing out every flicker, every glitch. Then came the supposed sightings. One user claimed they saw Annabelle sitting in the corner of a diner in Ohio, captured in a blurry phone picture that could have been anything. A doll, a kid's toy, or maybe just a trick of the lighting. Another story popped up on Reddit about someone finding a Raggedy Ann doll sitting at the edge of their bed, even though they didn't own one. The post blew up overnight. Thousands of comments ranging from fake to, "I believe you, get out now." The strange thing? Within days, more stories just like it started appearing. Different towns, different states, all reporting the same kind of thing. A doll that shouldn't have been there, showing up out of nowhere. This was when the Annabelle tracker trend hit. Someone created an interactive map online where people could drop pins for alleged sightings. By the end of the week, the map was lit up across the entire United States, with clusters of reports in places like Texas, Florida, and New York. Whether real or fake, it didn't matter. The narrative had taken hold. The idea that Annabelle wasn't just missing, but roaming free, bouncing from one unlucky home to the next, gave people chills. And of course, the Warrens Museum staff had to respond. They released a statement insisting that Annabelle had never moved, that she was still locked safely in her case. But by then, no one cared about official statements. The legend had already grown beyond their control. People online insisted the staff were covering something up, or that Annabelle had escaped temporarily and been returned quietly. The more the staff tried to deny it, the less anyone believed them. One of the strangest turns came when influencers began cashing in. Horror YouTubers staged fake Annabelle encounters, editing their footage with jump scares and eerie doll shots. Some even filmed overnight hunts near the Plantation Museum, setting up salt circles, holding EMF meters, and pretending to hear whispers in the dark. But here's the thing. Even if it was fake, the fear felt real to the people watching. That's the power of stories like this. You don't need proof. You just need the idea, and the imagination fills in the rest. Then came the dream stories. People on Twitter, TikTok, even Instagram Reels began claiming they dreamed of Annabelle after seeing the news. Not just vague dreams either, very specific ones. Dreams where she appeared at the foot of the bed, or whispered their names, or sat rocking in a chair just watching. Some described waking up to find objects in their rooms move slightly out of place. Whether that was sleep paralysis, suggestion, or something darker, It blurred the line between viral rumor and shared nightmare. The panic reached its peak when a few local news outlets actually covered the story. They treated it lightly, almost like a joke. But seeing Annabelle mentioned on TV gave the whole thing a new sense of credibility. What started as a single rumor now felt like an unstoppable chain reaction. Parents reported their kids having breakdowns after seeing TikTok videos, some even throwing away dolls they'd owned for years. Toy stores reported people asking if they carried Raggedy Ann dolls, like the haunted one, which sent sales oddly climbing. Here's where it gets unsettling. While most sightings could be explained away as hysteria or coincidence, a handful of reports stood out. Paranormal groups claim to capture unexplained EVPs, electronic voice phenomena that seem to whisper names associated with the Warrens. A podcast host swore that during an interview about Annabelle, the audio distorted every time they tried to say her name. Even skeptics admitted that something strange was in the air, like the collective fear had manifested into real experiences. The second part of this whole saga really wasn't about whether Annabelle physically escaped or not. It was about the power of belief. The internet gave her legs, literally. She became more than a doll behind glass. She became an urban legend reborn, a digital age monster that could haunt anyone's feed at any hour. And maybe that's even scarier than the idea of a doll actually walking around. Because how do you contain a story once it's escaped? Still, there are people who swear she really did vanish that night, and the museum scrambled to cover it up. They point to the timing. The exact hour when the news first broke online lined up with staff reports of a temporary security glitch. They argue that Annabelle might not even need to move in the way we imagine. Maybe she influences thoughts, makes herself appear where she wants, drags her legend into reality by sheer force of attention. That's the kind of theory that keeps believers awake at night. Even now, years later, the story pops up again whenever a new TikTok trend revives it. Someone will post, "Remember when Annabelle escaped?" And thousands of comments flood in from people who lived through the viral panic. Some laugh about it. Others admit they slept with lights on for weeks. The fact that people still talk about it proves the doll has power, whether supernatural or not. So what's the truth? Is Annabelle still locked in her case, never having budged an inch? Her power exaggerated by online storytellers and thrill seekers? Or did she actually manage to break free, if only for a night, leaving behind just enough fear to ripple through the world? No one can say for certain, but maybe that's the point, because the real terror of Annabelle isn't whether she's behind glass or not. It's the idea that she could be anywhere, in a blurry photo, in the corner of a room, or even just waiting for you in your dreams. And once that idea has crawled inside your head, it doesn't need proof. It doesn't need evidence. It just lingers, whispering to you in the dark. So, whether you believe the museum's official story or the thousands of rumors, one thing is certain. Annabelle didn't need to escape to haunt the world. She already has.